Hi, I'm Carolyn Oddie, a partner in the competition team at Allens. I'm here with Mick Keogh, a Commissioner of the ACCC, with a special interest in agriculture. Mick and I have just come from the agribusiness lunch that's put on by CEDA, where Allens was a sponsor and Mick was a keynote speaker. What are the kind of issues and things that you're going to be doing in the next little while?
We've broken down the activities of the agriculture unit into three areas. So there's engagement, enforcement and market studies. So engagement, I think the agriculture sector in Australia probably doesn't understand the nature of the role of the ACCC and the processes that it engages in making decisions. They've come from a statutory marketing background, the Wheat Board, the Wool Corporation, and that's all shifted. And I think the role of the ACCC is now quite important in the agriculture sector in a way that it hasn't been in past decades, but I'm not sure the understanding of the sector about how the ACCC works has necessarily caught up with that. So that's the engagement piece. The enforcement piece has always been there. I think we're probably doing more to alert the sector that if there are particular issues, that the ACCC has processes in place to investigate and, if necessary, to come to an enforcement position on a particular issue. Then the market studies, and again, this is something that's happening globally, where competition regulators, instead of waiting to see a major problem in the sector, actually actively investigate and understand the sector a bit better, for the benefit of all, for the benefit of suppliers, producers, consumers, so that some of the issues are better understood. And that's the third leg, if you like, of the ACCC's agriculture unit.
And you've already done or started those market studies, as I understand it, and you've got one that's already kicked off, is that right?
That's right. We've had a fairly concerted look at the beef processing and the live cattle and the cattle sector in Australia. And that came out of, there's been some merger decisions that have been probably not very popular with producers. There's been some concerns about behaviour at sale yards. So there was seen to be an opportunity to get a good hard look at and a good understanding of how the beef market is working in Australia, not because it's chasing a particular problem, but more to spread some understanding about how it all works.
Yeah, and I think we were talking before a little bit about, the difference between what might be a political issue and what might be an ACCC issue, and I think sometimes the understanding about where those priorities lie can be a little bit unclear in the picture.
Oh, and that's very true. So there'll be around issues, and we've seen it quite a lot. There'll be quite a deal of political noise, and then I think people perhaps don't understand that the ACCC has a framework that it operates within, and so it's trying to do the opposite. It's trying not to make political decisions. It's trying to make predictable, objective decisions based on the evidence available and what the legislation says. And so those two get confused, as you say, and so you'll have politicians saying, well, this shouldn't happen, and the ACCC saying, well, there's nothing in the law that says it shouldn't happen. So that creates a lot of confusion in the marketplace. Well, I think always mergers, particularly in agribusiness, raise concerns amongst the farm sector, because there is a gradual reduction in choice available. And so you see this dichotomy where larger players with larger resources and big international connections are very successful in tapping into markets and having the resources available to be successful in those markets. But the picture from this end is, hang on, I've gone from 3 processors to 2 processors to 1 processor, and now I'm entirely dependent on that one processor. So you're right. It's where's the balance? How do you make those decisions? I think there's a lot of work goes into looking at those decisions and trying to make them work well for both ends of the spectrum, and it's not always easy to make that judgment.
And you've got a consultative committee as well that meets every 6 months, I understand. So I'm assuming that you'll discuss sort of issues that might be coming to the fore in that committee. Is that how it will work? Yeah,
certainly. There's about 30, and the representation is both commodity-based and regional-based, so all states and all commodities. So we get a very good perspective of the issues that are concerning people and where resources might best be devoted if there are issues that are bubbling up. I mean, I think as some have pointed out, it works both ways. A farmer wanting to claim his product has certain characteristics, and being misleading in that is just as likely to fall foul of the ACCC as a corporation proposing to merger. So I think it's good to have an understanding of the full breadth of the implications of the Competition Act right across the sector.
Yeah, no, and I think that's right. Even at the grower level, as you were saying, the ACCC did investigate the alleged egg cartel, in terms of deciding to cull eggs. Now, they weren't actually successful in that case, but nevertheless, I guess it's an education for people involved in farming industry associations and things, that they have to be careful about what they do as farmers, and they are competitors at the same time as being, involved in manufacturing or making the same produce.
Yeah, so that's absolutely right. And even we've discussed it today that Australian agriculture is moving from commodified products, in other words, big shipments of bulk beef or grain that really are just fair average quality, to a more premiumised product where you're claiming special provenance or credence characteristics around a particular product. Well, you actually have to get that right for a number of reasons, and that means that you do have to understand how all that system is going to work.
Well, the credence claims with organic water, with free-range eggs, there's quite a litany of them really, isn't there? So
and they're growing. Consumers want more and more specifics in relation to the products that they're purchasing, and if there's not confidence in the credibility of those, everyone suffers. So consumers pay too much for something they shouldn't have, and those producers who are doing the right thing get disadvantaged because someone else is able to outmarket them. So it's a two-edged sword and quite a complicated and growing area.
Okay, well look, thanks very much for your time today, Mick. That's been a very interesting insight and a bit of a canter through the things that the ACCC is going to be doing in future and what it's starting to work on now. And we'll look forward to monitoring those developments and being involved in them along the way.
Thank you.